Good evening, good evening, good evening. Welcome once again. You have come to the Honeycomb Hideout. I keep telling you there are so many different places that I get a chance to talk to all you good people at. But you know, first and foremost, I gotta say, Hotep, welcome to Solid News, where we keep it solid for TAN TV. Now you might ask, what is TAN TV? The African American Network. This network about you, for you, because of you. Why? Because we need to. And today, I just wanted to sit back. Your brother has been missing out of action for a minute, but I got a reason why. Because I'm trying to follow the footsteps of these thespians, directors, and just being a creative as far as being a creative will allow us to be. So, today, I have two good brothers with me today. And we're gonna let you in on something that is going on. In fact, we're gonna let you know about a lot of what's going on here today. And before we go to my last part, which is the strawberry on top, I wanna go back for a second. First of all, I want you all to meet and greet Professor Jaheed. He didn't know I was gonna call him Professor, but that's what he is. Professor Jaheed lives in his creativeness as a teacher, as an activist, as a motivational speaker, as a historian, as a fighter of injustice, and he's just an all-around creative. Now, my right, your left, I have Brother Jordan. Brother Jordan has been a thespian, an actor, for as long as I've met him. Every time I run into a show, we end up doing something together. When I first met the brother, though, we were doing a program here called Black Nativity. And if you don't know what Black Nativity is, trust and believe. Come to San Antonio in December and see how we bring God on the stage. Very incredible. But so I have actor here, teacher here, and little old me in the middle. Welcome to the Honeycomb Hideout. And you know I have a word for you. We have a word of the day. And I just gave you the word, so we're gonna go back. Our word for today is Hotep. That is that greeting of peace. We're checking the thermometer, the temperature of the room. And we always want to start with peace. We can't receive anything if our hands are full of butter. We got to release to receive. Now, that was good. Release to receive. That should be a t-shirt, y'all. And if I see you wearing this t-shirt, I'm gonna need y'all to come on over to TAN TV and drop down y'all 5%. Thank you very much. And I'm speaking, I think I can get away with this. I think the CEO will let me get away with this. So if you stole it from TAN TV, 5% will do you just fine for now. And let's get it real big. And then 20% will come up. But again, I want to go back. Me not being a native of San Antonio. San Antonio had something that I didn't really realize, and that was African-centered schools. Teaching that centered, let me change that. Not African-centered, but Akibilan-centered. I'll explain that one next week about Akibilan, but there's a reason. Hold me to it. But it's about the culture. It's about how our people moved and how our people acted, how our people studied, how our people shared. And I'm telling you, if I would have had this going up in school, I would have been a genius. Isn't it funny how they try to tell you what your child don't know and how slow your child is, and only because they're not teaching in the way that you should understand? Oh, teaching right there. So, this gentleman to my left, your right, has created a school, created a house of learning. And I want you, Professor Jaheed, to once again introduce yourself to the people.
Okay.
And talk about this Liberation Center.
Okay. First of all, I want to say I thank this brother for this great introduction. I'm going to have to hang around him more often because that was awesome what he said about me. So that's great. My name is Jaheed Osaze, and I am the CEO of an organization called the Liberation Center. Now, the Liberation Center is basically an organization, but what this organization is, it's a social outreach organization. And it has a couple of arms. The first arm is, of course, the Liberation Center, where we go into the community and we do things to help those who have been marginalized, those who are disenfranchised, and we just do things that we need to do as a people to help our people. And one of the things we do at the Liberation Center is we feed the homeless. We team up with ministries and just organizations who say, hey, we have an obligation to go out and help those who are less fortunate. And so we feed the homeless. We also tested back in the day, which we're going to pick up again, where we tested for COVID, those who couldn't afford to pay for it, so we do that free of charge as well. The other arm of the Liberation Center is Liberation Academy. That's the school that this brother was telling you about. We started the school in 2022, and we are as excited as we can be for this year coming up. Our curriculum is Afrocentric, and what that means is basically we see the world through the eyes of our ancestors, because our ancestors are the ones who basically laid the foundation for us. You know, we teach the core subjects, math, science, language, etc., etc. But we also teach cultural issues. We teach our history. We teach identity, so that when our children grow up, they won't have to depend on other people. They will depend on themselves. And so what we try to do at Liberation Academy, what we have been successfully doing is we are taking students and we're beginning to shape them to the degree that when they get older, they will be able to solve the problems of the day that they're faced with, as opposed to waiting until they get older and find these problems that they can't imagine and that they can't deal with. And so that's one of the things that we do at Liberation Academy. But the whole goal in a nutshell of Liberation Academy is basically we teach our children how to survive, because that's what it's all about now. It's about survival skills, and those survival skills have to be in line with their political, their social, their economical, and their educational construct. And that's what we provide at Liberation Academy. So thank you for giving me the opportunity to express a little bit about what we do at Liberation Academy, as well as the Liberation Center.
Well, thank you. I got a question. Look.
Sure.
When the first time I saw the Liberation Academy, it was a whole bunch of kids. Now when I see the Liberation Academy, it's all women.
Mm-hmm.
What happened?
Well, that's an anomaly. Our school is open to boys and girls. It just so happens that whenever someone registers, we ask them about their children, and they have girls. So even if we do, when we get some young boys, we're going to separate them, because here's the situation. As young adults, there's so much going on with our hormones and things of that nature. And so what we try to do is we try to teach our children how to love themselves first. And once they love themselves, then we'll find out that we can teach them how to love that person of the opposite sex. This is why the divorce rate is so high. This is why couples are breaking every other day, because some of us, men and women, we don't know how to live together. We don't know how to get along. But if we were taught in school first, before we thought about the opposite sex, dating and all of that stuff, if we were taught how to love ourselves, how to love our community, how to love our culture, how to take care of ourselves, how to take care of our finances, how to do things that's necessary for us, then when we get all of that down, then you move to another element, and that is teaching how to love each other. And so we feel like this is going to solve some of the problems as well, as far as the divorce rate, the skyrocketing breakup rate in relationships. And so this is a plus, and we pride in that, and we make no bones about it. We tell people at the outset that when we have children, we separate them, because a young boy needs to know how to be a man before he can get into other things, and a young lady needs to know how to be a woman before she can talk about dating. And that's one of the issues that we find even today when you mix this up. You know, when you turned 13, brother, you wasn't thinking about books when you looking across the room and you saw somebody that you were attracted to, see. So we got to keep our focus, and that's one of the things that we do at Liberation Academy, especially with our mission statement.
So I'm an old head though. So the 13-year-old girl did nothing for me. It was the teacher. I've always been in love with intellect. So she had what I needed because she was giving it to me. So there you go. But I asked that question because we make this joke about our churches. The sisters are running the church. All you see is the women in the church. There were a lot of people making the argument, even in the movement, it was the strength of the woman that was the backbone of the men in the movement. Because even though King was phenomenal, look what his wife had to do once he was removed. Look at what Malcolm's wife did when he was removed. Violent as it was, these women stood on shoulders and levels so incredible. And I just thought it wasn't even me making, hopefully you didn't take it out to make a joke, but I thought it was so incredible. One of my favorite partners was Wonder Woman. Not because she was cute in the outfit,
Right.
but the whole Amazonian living on the island. And you're right, when you don't have all this distraction, you can stay focused on those things that you need to be doing and worrying about. And so then you got the women like Hidden Figures. You know, I don't know how many people have seen the movie, but how many people actually realize that they called them women calculators. That means they were able to compute them numbers in a way that no one else could. And I watched the movie over and over because I like how it slid little stuff in, like IBM.
Yeah.
And the working of the computers and how it took the sister to. That is phenomenal.
Yeah.
And I'm telling you, if we don't catch up, brothers, if we don't catch up, it's going to be a mustard situation.
Yeah.
I promise. Because the power of the first teacher, which is the woman, she's already living in her purpose. And I'm glad that Liberation Academy is doing what they do.
Yeah.
And they have a CD?
Yeah, we have the young ladies, they have 3 CDs, and all of their music are social. In other words, it's not about shaking your behind or showing parts of your body that you don't need to show. It's about education. It's about social issues that they face, that we face. In fact, you know, they put on concerts all over the city. They did one last week at Comanche Park, and the people that saw them perform were astonished. They were amazed because we have a strategy. See, if you don't have a strategy, when you're raising up your children or anyone's children, our children, because everybody's children, they're my children as well, but you have to have a strategy. What are you going to do with young girls and young boys as they begin to grow up and face the challenges that they face every day? When you and I grew up, one of the biggest issues we might have had was going to school chewing bubble gum. Today it's crack, it's cocaine, it's some of everything that I can't even mention on this podcast, you see. But then if you know these things are going on, as a facilitator, as a man, as a woman, we should have a strategy to help them. And a lot of us don't. We're just living on a day-to-day basis. And the bottom line is, if we don't do it, we're going to turn them back over to the very system that we're trying to keep them from being engulfed by, see. And that's the issue that we face here. Martin Luther King, Malcolm X, all the brothers that you mentioned earlier, even today, the system is designed to make sure that the brother is not doing what he's supposed to do. So since we know that, what strategy do we have? And the strategy we have is not complaining and griping and murmuring and crying. The strategy we have is proactive. We're doing things about that. So we want you to know that we're definitely proactive.
Now, does the lady group, do they have a name?
No, they just call themselves the young ladies, the girls, the African girls. It just depends on what concert they're doing, what they're going to be. They tell me what they want to be called, but it's always something positive. It's never something demeaning. You know, it is never something that our elderly would be ashamed of.
Right.
So, you know, and it's very powerful if you think about it. I think you've heard them before where they ran off almost 100 names in almost 3 minutes of African Americans and Africans just verbatim, because that's what they're being taught.
I got on the phone with my chairman. The very first time I heard them, I said, brother, Chairman Fred Hampton Jr., I was like, brother, you got to hear these ladies do their thing. And he's sitting in the background, uhuru, uhuru, uhuru. Because it was, first of all, it's about time. It's about time. Everybody keeps telling me that this sells and this sells and this sells. I don't care. What works for me is this knowledge of self and this pride.
Yes, sir.
And I would love, now I know it's hard because there's a lot of working pieces, but we need to get all of them and bring them to the couch.
Okay.
And talk to them about their goals.
Right.
Because when I was coming up in Chicago, we had Access TV. Access TV was the only way that creatives could get on. You know, because if you was on the networks, ABC, Fox, all of that, they wanted some money for that time and that record. But Access TV gave us a chance to voice ourselves, show our talent, show our gift. And it made us feel just as important as everybody else. And it tells young people, we see you. All this working and memorizing and studying and eating all of these things, we see you. And it's respect.
Yes, sir.
You know.
Yes, sir.
So definitely, I don't know how we gotta talk about that, because
Yes,
I
sir.
definitely want to get them out here
Yes.
and let them know. I'm gonna be asking them the hard questions.
They're gonna teach. We had a sister come. She's very intelligent and very powerful in the community. She came to the school she wanted to teach our young ladies about identity. When they got through with her, she knew who she was.
Come on now. That's what I'm talking about.
Yeah, because that's what we talk about. You know, it's a situation now, brother, where if we had time, which I know we don't, we may want to do something about education, because I'm telling you now, most of us don't know what education is. It's a word, but when we ask 50 different people, what's the definition of education? You're gonna get 50 different answers. Education is not 50 different answers.
Nope.
Education is about survival. Education is about making sure that when your children graduate from whatever university or college or school that they go to, that they know how to compete against a system, man. A system that's ruthless. You know. Education should always be to the betterment of the person that's being educated.
I agree.
Not working. When you ask my girls, you know, what do you want to be when you grow up? They don't want to work for someone else. Who put it in their minds, you want to own your own business. See, this is a philosophy, and this is something that we're going to have to involve ourselves in, unless we're going to continue to gripe and complain and continue to go down that same road that we're going. You can be the greatest mathematician in the world, but what are you using your mathematical skills for? To oppress people like me, or to help your people? That's the conversation we need to have, and a lot of us, we don't like to talk that way because we think that we're in a system that we're like other people. You're not like other people. You're different. So our information is brought to our girls from that standpoint and vantage point of they are who they are, and we build on that. They're not little European girls. They're girls who live in this country that are oppressed, that's going to make it, that's going to make sure that when they have children, their children will look someone in the eyes and tell them, I want you to work for me. I don't want to work for you. Get a job with someone else. So these are some of the things that we talk about. But that's just.
And if your child is not in this Liberation Academy, your child missing out. And shame on you for doing a disservice to your child. You're supposed to love your child. You dig? So move on over. I want them to come back to me and say, our problem now is we don't have nowhere to put all these kids.
That's right.
That's what I'm looking for. Let it start in the house, let it start in the backyard, let it start. I want them to say, we have to build a building. Because there is no more room, and people still lining up around the corner. And as long as we still play the lottery and taxes, we can do a building for the Liberation Center and the Academy and then the university. Now that's the one thing I did love about when dealing with OBU, with Organization of Black Unity. They, once they got a certain age, they started looking at what the college courses were. I don't want you to leave the circle of learning. I want you to enjoy all that we have to offer.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
But don't think I'm being rude to my guests on the right. It's just that we have different questions. Now, for my brother Jordan on the right, introduce yourself. Tell them what you do. You got any warrants? No, I'm just kidding.
Yeah, my name is Jordan Clark, and I am an actor. I've been doing acting since I was in high school, since forever. So, yeah. So,
What was your favorite role so far?
my favorite role, what, in acting? I played this character called Lil Green.
Lil Green.
Yeah, he was this character.
That's
He was a
funny.
bit, yeah, but I don't know, but I just like to do different parts, just try to see what I can do beyond characters and stuff like that.
Sir, can you be ruthless? I gotta ask that because his voice is so soft.
Yeah,
And he's so mellow.
and so quiet.
He's
Yeah,
so chill.
yeah, I know.
So don't
People
let that
don't. Yeah, and people see me. They know that I'm very, very quiet. I don't speak like I'm just to myself.
Right,
But
right.
when I get on that stage,
That's right,
they be
that's
like,
right.
whoa, what? Wow, I never seen him like that.
Yeah.
He's just so. I'm like,
Yeah.
hey, I mean, this is what I do. I love to act. I love to show my different appearance. I like to challenge myself a lot more. So all you actors or whoever you are, I'm like, if you love to do what you called to do, then do it.
Yes, sir.
So
Yes, sir.
that's what I'm about. I'm just shooting my shot and I'm going for it.
Yes,
So,
sir.
I heard when you shoot your shot, you don't miss.
and I do my best not to miss.
Oh, that's right. Oh, that's right.
So
If y'all cannot feel the energy in the room, I'm so sorry. Y'all need to come down to a taping of Tan TV. I'm about to really get Miss Laura kicked out of her own building. Because people are going to be coming around the corner. We're going to be doing this thing. And I say that because I was watching the history of Arsenio Hall and how many times he denied doing this show because he didn't want to do it. And when he finally did it and accepted it, he was able to accept it on his terms, paperwork-wise, pay-wise. And he knew he had a formula that would work. He just had to show them that his formula worked. And then they would talk, interviewing people, they was like, people would show up to his show that wasn't even on the show. Because they wanted to be in the mix.
Yeah, I hear you.
You know,
Yeah.
Kid and Play talks about it all the time. They were like, man, that was better than going to the club, coming down to his show. But it brought awareness, and I leave that alone. But I understand, I understand why he had to leave. But you ain't gonna run Solid News out like that. Because what we're gonna do is continue stepping forward in this very unapologetically continental living situation. That hurt my neck. but we discuss Professor. We discuss the Liberation Center. Feel like I want to discuss your activism. What pulls you into that? I think about people like Marcus Garvey, and it's sad sometimes that it's your own people who don't understand where you're coming from.
Teach.
And you gotta fight them before you get into the real fight. because you got to walk over the naysayers of your own situation. And so, what is that place you go to, that thing you draw from to keep you fighting?
Well, first of all, I'd have to say that the need, I mean, at the older I get, the more wiser I become. There's a great need for activism. This is not something that we can sit back on the couch and put our feet up and say, okay, we have all day to do this. You know, this is a tyranny of the urgent. We must act now. If you look at what's going on, if you open your eyes and we see what's going on with our people all over the world, and especially here in San Antonio, Texas, if a man or a woman isn't motivated to activate their lives to help the cause, there's something wrong with that person.
Okay.
And so therefore the need is, and then also what's in my heart is my ancestors. When you study your history, when you know who you are, when you know the sacrifice, when you know everything that they paid for us to be in these chairs and talking about what we do, what we like, what we don't like, it's incumbent upon us, deep within our souls, to vibe and to take from them and to say, hey, this is the part that I play in the liberation of my people. And so when I think about my ancestors and I think about all the greats, men and women, you know, I think about people like Mary Turner, who was hung in 1918, was pregnant, they split her open, hung her. You know, she never makes the headlines, you know, it's always others, but the bottom line is she died for us. The two brothers in Indiana that were hung, that's always on the internet. So these are my heroes, you see. I mean, I have heroes in the African American and the African community, those of old, but I look at the ancestors who people don't talk about, those who were sold into slavery, those great kings and queens of the continent who we don't even get a chance to study. So I pull from their strength and their energy, and I see that what we do and what we're doing here in the United States of America is really not a drop in the bucket. It's just in spite of. We've always been great builders. We've always been great thinkers, but you know, because of our circumstance, we get excited. But history should teach us more than just names and dates. History should teach us how to get off our you-know-whats and do something to help our children, to help our elderly. You know, we don't even visit the nursing home, the rehabilitation centers. But we always talking about we must be kind to the elders. You know, we disrespect them in that way. So we must put in our schedule once a month, once a week. I'm gonna drive by there and go in there and sit down and talk to the elders and see what I can glean and learn from them. So activism is something that's active, man. And so that's the answer as to why. It's the need, and it's also my ancestors. That's why I'm as active as I am.
You just put this is why I love it when we talk. Because I just be thinking how I'm trying to get out of stuff, and then you put most stuff on me.
Yes, sir.
Like we need to find an elder home, and we need to adopt that home, and we need to make sure once a month, whatever it is, that we bring them drumming, that we bring them storytelling, that we bring them the art of acting, put on little programs just for our elders.
Brother, that's you're playing that side of the album that has been played a lot, and I play it a lot too. But I'm gonna flip it over and say, here's the other side of that album. There's always a side A and B back in the day. You playing side A, and I love side A. But I'm gonna flip it over and play side B. Side B is we need to go there and sit our you-know-whats down and just listen to them. Just listen. Don't bring. Now we need to bring the drumming. Sometimes we need to bring the storytelling. That's great. But sometimes we need to just come and sit down and say, "How was your day?" and listen to them.
I'm with that.
And learn from them.
Yes.
You see, and this is the kind of person that brother, I love you a great deal. And I'm always inspired and excited to sit and talk with you, because you always winding someone up and letting them go. but this is what we need to do. You know, we need to do all of the above, because this situation that we're in now is dire. And so and if you ask yourself, and I'm not trying to put anybody down, because I haven't always been this way either, so I'm not trying to sit on a high horse, but ask yourself, how many times have we rolled by nursing homes or rehabilitation centers and not one here? But how many times do we go to these religious places like the mosque, spiritual meetings, the church, How many times do we go there? Every other week, right? But yet in all of those religions and organizations and spiritual gatherings, it's always something about the elderly. But I'll be damned if most of us even have that kind of heart. So
let me throw this in there.
oh, I'm sorry. I hope they don't kick me off.
Ain't
Hey, Jordan, I'm just saying
nobody
words.
kicking you off.
Okay,
I
okay.
just, I write about my church for a second.
Mm-hmm.
Because our church happens to be right next door on Kitty Hawk to an elderly home.
That's good. Beautiful.
We there every other Saturday.
That's good. That's good.
And let me tell you something about, I don't believe the elders, I think they in makeup. Because them folks in there play bones and spades, and they got stories for you. And all we can do is just sit there, man, and get taught.
Please.
And get
please,
fed.
Please.
So I'm with you. So I'm about that life. We can play both sides of that.
And what about the people that don't have a rehabilitation center next to their church? See, it's easy and it's convenient to go next door, and that's great because you should go next door. But what about when the rehabilitation center is miles away, or you're going to stores or malls or where have you, and you're passing every day and not even thinking about it?
Now you need to park your car
That's what I'm talking about.
and turn inside.
Yeah.
Now you got something to do. You keep complaining about something to do on the weekend. Trying to figure out what you're gonna do on the weekend.
Yeah.
It's about us.
Yeah.
I was born a son of a panther. So this revolution has always been in me. And I saw how they did it then. I see how some of the brothers are trying to do it now. But they need our help. They were never meant to do this by themselves. We don't just leave one person to be the spokesperson. They say if you just leave that one head up there, it's so easy to cut that head off the dragon and then everything falls. But it needs to be a hydra. It needs to have 7, 18 heads that all of us move. Ooh, wow, we done got to a whole other situation. But this again is what happened on Solid News.
Okay.
This is what we do. Activism at its highest.
Yeah.
And again, TAN TV,
Yes, sir.
the African American Network.
Yes, sir.
That means I ain't saying nobody else on the network.
That's right.
So I ain't worried about nobody else right now.
Talk to me.
And it's not a shade to anyone. But I think everybody needs to fall in love with your people. Everybody has, I'm in Texas, y'all. If you don't learn the Hispanic culture, you will. And it's not a shade.
Right.
I love learning about everything because I love how it all comes together. But when do we start stepping up for ours? That's our time now. Especially with my young brother over here. Because as you can tell, I'm a little older now. A little spottier now. But my job is to mentor him. My job is to be an example and an example for him. Because guess what? There's going to be younger people under him that are going to be looking to him that I might not be able to reach. But he'll be able to touch all day long. This is what we do. And that's why I wanted you to talk about this activism.
Oh.
Because it can be done in your house.
Mm-hmm.
There's the, I don't know if I want to go outside, COVID, whatever you want to use, there's things that you can do in your home to be the activist. So, as you can tell, we're about messages. September 15th, there is a play coming up. Man, let me tell you. I need you, to turn your TVs up. I need you to listen to this.
Yes, sir.
I need you to come September 15th and show out. Just like when Black Panther hit the movie theaters, and we had the drummers drumming, and everybody was all in the Africana gear, and everybody was speaking Hotep and Habara Dane. I need y'all to come to the Joe Long Theater and shut it down for this play here. Now, I happen to be sitting next to the author of this play. And that's all I'm going to give you. What's been running this play is nobody knows the ending of this play. And you're not going to get it here either. But you know how you can find out? Get you a ticket. Show up, show out. Ain't nobody going live in there. You ain't going to be able to watch this at home. No. You're going to have to come out here. So I'm going to step all the way back. And I want both of these brothers to talk about how they play this part. First of all, we're blessed to have the creator, once again, the professor himself. And I call him professor because I was just listening to my favorite rap group, X-Clan. And I noticed how everybody in there had a name that sampled themselves. And this right here is truly the professor. So, brother, can you teach upon, speak upon this play?
I'm going to bag it up and then I'll bring it all the way forward.
Let's go.
In the Liberation Center, the two arms we have, one is Liberation Academy. You've already heard me elongate on that. The other arm is the liberal arts, where we've done 3 plays for the last 3 years. One of the plays was called The Untold Truths from Her Womb. We kind of went back into time and showed how great our people were. The next one was called last year, The Great Black Hopes, Now What? We talked about all the leaders that have gotten us to this far, and then we challenged people, okay, since they've done their part, what are we going to do? And then this play that we're doing September the 15th, 226 North Hackberry Street at 5 o'clock is called Shadows of Doubt, Whispers of Innocence. I play the guy that the play is about. His name is Leo Brown. The play is about a gentleman who was convicted of a crime. We don't know whether he did it or not, but he was at the scene of the crime, and you know how we are when it comes to a people that look like us. If you're there and they can point you out, you did it. We're calling this play a driller. What do you mean, Jahi, a driller? It's drama and it's a thriller. You put it together, you got a driller. So, but this play takes place in the 1990s, Shadows of Doubt, Whispers of Innocence, and it's about a family, really. It's about a family who sticks together through it all, no matter what their relative is going through, incarcerated. But yet the family pulls every ounce of their fiber of the souls that they have to try to help exonerate this person because they believe in their heart. This brother did do it, and most of us know even today, if you somewhere where you shouldn't be and you're pointed out or someone says you did it because you fit the bill, if you're an African American, you're going to be convicted. And so this play is about the person's family. He's a human, he has a wife, he has children, he has a mother, he has a brother, he has friends, and they're rallying behind this brother because as this man and I talked about before we came on the broadcast, family is important. We got to get back to that. We can't dismiss our family anymore. We need each other. You need me, I need you. And so this play here is going to make the hair on your neck stand up. And these two brothers here are in the play, so I'm going to let them talk a little bit about their role. But the play, again, centers around a man who was convicted of a crime that either he did or didn't. You have to come and see it, if he did it or if he didn't. And then it talks about how family should be, basically, how we should be in a nutshell. It's a lot of other aspects too, but that's pretty much what it's about. And it's really graphic. And I think a lot of us will learn your family member is not that bad to where you can't support them, especially when they're going through. This brother plays a correction officer, the main one. He plays a correction officer. So officer, I should say, so they kind of see and they kind of hear in that rehearsal, they kind of got their own perspective. So I'll let them say what they want to say, but it's called Shadows of Doubt, Whispers of Innocence, September the 15th, that's a Sunday at 5 o'clock p.m. at the Joel on 3 Theater. Tickets are on sale now at the box office and at Ticketmaster, but we encourage you to go to the box office because Ticketmaster has extra fees that you may not want to subscribe to. So that's what we wanted to say. We have balcony seating and seating at the floor. He mentioned the seating on the floor, which is not a bad seat. It's $37, taxes included. In the balcony, it's $27. So we are actually to support the Liberation Center with this play. You brothers take it away, man. One of y'all.
Well, it's theater almost in the round. There's no bad seat. There is no bad seat, whether you're in the balcony, you're not in a nosebleed seat, But if you're in the balcony, it's good. If you're on the floor, it's good. But the play is just good. Now I want to go over to my brother, and I'll come back and talk about me later.
Well, as they mentioned, that I do play a guard, an officer. So one of my character thought was, I'm gonna just keep it real. I'm in my thought that my experience is playing the prison guard, that whoever's in there is just guilty. And I'm just keeping it real. That's just what I came upon or whatever. So who's ever in jail or whatever like that, and I don't care. You can say that you're innocent, and you might be innocent, but at the end of the day, I just don't care. I'm just a straight up, you know what. So I'm just like, shoot, you did the crime, you're doing the time, so guilty. I don't care. I'm treating you like everybody else up in here. They're treating you all the same. So that's pretty much how I'm portraying my character as a prison guard. So.
Y'all would have expected that from him. Because he's so nice.
Yeah.
He just told y'all, if you're in jail, you guilty.
Yeah.
But
You
that's
did
just,
it.
but that's just the character. So don't. That's just the character now. See, some people might think that. Oh, does he really think? No. The officer, the character, the officer now. Jordan does not think that. Right? And so. No. Let's get that straight. Because some people have different thinking. They like when they look, especially when they go to the movies and stuff like that. They look and they like, it's like a totally like a villain or something.
Yeah.
And then all of a sudden they look at that person in the interview or whatever. They be like, I wonder if that's his real lifestyle or that and the other. And I'm like, and then I'm like, no. And I'm like, no, I don't think that. I'm like, no, that's I don't think so, because he could be the sweetest guy, or he can be, a good guy or whatever like that. He's doing this, paying his taxes, doing this, doing that, driving a nice car, But like I said, I don't judge people on how they do in the movie and stuff like that, especially like that Tyler Perry movie when Diary of a Mad Black Woman, and he was treating his wife so bad, and they was like, and I be seeing the memes on Facebook or on Instagram. They was like, "Can we please forgive this guy, even though he did that woman wrong?" And I was like, he was just a character. I'm like, I know he did treat her wrong, but she did get her revenge a little bit. And then of course at the end, they end up filing for divorce, and he went his way, she went her way. She got, but. That's how I look at him.
I know it's your broadcast, but I want to ask him a question in rehearsal. How do you like working with this guy? These two guys work together. They're both correctional officers in the state penitentiary. So I wonder, how do you guys like working together since you're on the set together?
I work for the government.
I'm just there to get a paycheck. And I'm
You
trying
want
to
to
do.
know why I act like that for real? See the next play. That's all I got for you. I have no regrets. I do my job. I pass the course. I get a check. I go home. I do my job, and that's it. But I love what the place stands for, and we did talk about this too. We got a lot of young men out here who make the wrong statement. I could do 15 on my head.
Talk, bro.
But you're not the only one who does that 15, brother. Your mama gotta do 15.
Yes.
Your wife gotta do 15. Your kids gotta do 15. Your brothers and sisters gotta do 15. They're getting bullied in school. They're going through. You're not the only one who do this 15. In fact, you're the easiest one because you're behind bars. They got to walk this real walk every day and got to do 15. Now, that's unfair, and they ain't even partake in it. You know, when I was growing up, I was a little bit of a, we we always knew you don't bring no drama to your mama's house. My mama told me, son, if you ever find yourself behind bars, let that be your new hotel. Don't call me, and now it ain't gonna happen. And I took that to heart. You know, my uncle taught me. He said, and he got me on the way he could too. He went to Black History. He said, let me tell you something about Malcolm. Malcolm went through everything that he did, but he always had 12 men around him who were way smarter than him. He would delegate, and he would study with them so he could talk about any and everything. But that's what I did. I learned how to delegate. But we urge you to come out and see the play. We want you to truly come out, show a force. Let's get the ticket. We spend so much on foolishness. Them Amazon packages will still be there next week. Come out, support the actors, support the writer, and in supporting this, you're also supporting the school. And in the long run, all of this is about support. I wouldn't even be here if it wasn't about lifting up. And that's the true story of all of this. We are here to support each other. They love me, I love them, and all together we love the community.
I would like to say too, Brother Mondrea, I promise you, and I normally don't promise things because you don't know, what you're promising, if it's going to come to pass. But I promise you this, if you come to this play, I promise you won't be disappointed when you leave. That I guarantee. These brothers, and we have a cast of about 30-something people. Even the Liberation Academy. Liberation Academy is going to open up, do a couple of numbers before we even open the curtains. So that's an opportunity you can see the girls and hear them perform. But again, we are so excited about this production, and we have so much fun at rehearsal. But these guys, they're being modest now, but these guys, there's something else. Both of them with these, they got these halos around their heads now while they're talking. But their roles, what they do, man, it's really fascinating. So again, we're not just trying to sell wolf tickets to get you to come out, but this is something that we can do as a family, come out and actually support what we have in the city, because we're very proud of it. And I'm telling you, this is something that you will never forget this.
So I'd like to thank you all. Thank you for checking in with us. Thank you for checking in. And this is something that we can do for the community, about the community. Come, let's support Brother Jaheed. Come, let's support Brother Jordan. Come support TAN TV. Support our CEO. Phenomenal woman. Y'all need to check it out. None of this would not be if it wasn't for those who took a chance on us.
That's right.
And now we want to get that chance back. So until I see you again next week, Uhuru, hope